Welcome back to Comic Shop Talk, everybody, in the late night collectors community. I'm your host, Nico, and joined with me today, as always, is my co-host, Chris. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Thanks for tuning in, guys. If this is your first time checking out the channel, and if you like what you saw here today, make sure to subscribe. Even if you didn't like what you saw here today, subscribe, because these are good videos. we put a lot of time and effort into these. We have a good time. Come on now, subscribe to the channel. No. In all serious though, hit that like button, that thumbs up, guys, if you like what you saw here today. And if you want to keep the conversation going on any of the comics that we talked about here today, hit us up in the comments. Hit that notification bell if you want to be notified of when these videos drop every week. Usually they drop either Friday or Saturday every week, depending how long it takes us to read our comics. And thank you for tuning in. So we just want to mention spoiler warning to all of you guys before we get into the comics that we'll be talking about this week. This week we're talking about the comics for the week of, what is it, the 30th today?
March 30.
Yeah, so March 28th is the release of these comics then, right? Because today's the 30th. So yeah, I think this is the week of March 28th, 2022. For new comics, we're going to be talking about those in today's episode. Or is today the 1st?
Joke's on you, sucker.
Right. It's
April
Fools. Yeah. So yeah, it is the 30th. Chris was right. There you go. Off to a great start here. So we're talking about the books for March 30th. Yeah, jokes on me. Absolutely. We're recording this on April 1st. So so we're going to be talking about these books. We might be talking about some of the spoilers, guys. As always, I put the show notes out for you if you want to navigate through and maybe not hear us talk about certain books if you're afraid we're going to spoil them. We try to stay away from big spoilers, but sometimes, we got to talk about it to get into the review of the books. So, be forewarned. All right. Without further ado, though, Chris.
All right, let's talk comics.
All right, let's talk them. All right, cheers. All right. First up on the docket, let's see. We're going to change up the view today too for you guys. See if we can get some bigger, the art a little bit bigger here for you guys. Okay, Dark Ages 6. All right. So, Chris, what'd you think of this?
I think it was a quick ending to this series here. I had a lot of good hopes for this, or I enjoyed this series, the first few issues.
Yeah.
Felt that I needed a few more issues to breathe a little bit, But there was no wasted panels in this issue, and something big was happening on each page. And I thought they really packed a lot into this comic.
Yeah, couldn't say it better myself, man. Yeah, you absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, Chris, you froze up there for a second on my end. What happened?
No, just even just the panels you got up there right now.
Yeah, that great Wolverine moment where they blasted the down to his adamantium bones to be used.
Yeah, just because they needed some of the adamantium.
Yeah, exactly. You said it. It was for me. It was a little too little, too late. I mean, like you said, this was a jam-packed issue. It was a solid ending. I thought overall the miniseries in the middle, like the issue 3 and 4, really kind of weren't great. Great start, and then it kind of lost its way somewhere in the middle of it. And like you said, we could have used, even 6 more issues. Like this could have been like a maxi series. Honestly, like this could have been like a couple of different mini series to tell this story. And unfortunately, we're just not going to get that because Tom Taylor, unless they sign new writers in the same world, and hopefully they do it somewhere down the road. But the way it ended, I don't think so. I think this was it. He's exclusive DC now, and there were some great moments. I mean, in this one, you got the moment with my favorite moment was with Deadpool shot the Purple Man. Like he just they just rolled up and shot him in the head, and it was just like he's like, what? Everyone's like shocked. Jessica's like, that wasn't the plan. He's like, listen, I just took it in my own hands. Like I made it my own. I wasn't listening. I was driving the bus.
Yeah, I like that excuse is great.
And his moment with Gabby, the sister, there was a great part where like Octavius, he got killed, and he was like, I wrote down the line. It was like, it's Octavius. He's being torn in half, so he's more like 2 Quartaviuses. I'm just like, that's fucking hilarious. So there's some good moments. And Deadpool's like, I missed you, Gabby. Like as soon as she said that, he like, because Tom Taylor also wrote a all new Wolverine series for Marvel like a few years back, which was a great series with X-23, Laura and Gabby. He kind of, brought her, like created that character, I believe, Gabby, or at least created the best version of that character, because that's so, like, the fact that she was together with Deadpool, who also showed up in that series in this issue, I was like, that's awesome. Like, for me, knowing like that he's worked with those characters before, the dialogue was just so funny and great. Some great moments, man. Like you said, the Wolverine moment, even the way they took out Apocalypse, although it was kind of like quick. You know what I mean? Like, I liked it. I liked how they kind of combined a bunch of different elements to kind of take him down. I dug it, man. So, but it felt rushed, right? It felt
Like this could have been either a supersized issue. I don't know if it's big already, but this could have been over 2 or 3 issues easy.
Yeah. So what'd you give it though?
I'll give it a 4. I did like it. Like, that scene there that you have up on there, that that could have been spread over 2 or 3 pages somehow and actually see some fighting, not just one kind of splash page of them fighting and that was it, basically.
Yeah, you could tell they were rushing to the finish line in this one for sure. But I also gave it a 4. I thought, like I said, I thought it was a solid ending. Overall, I think I would give the miniseries itself like a 3, just because it was kind of like so in the middle. 3.5 maybe overall.
Yeah, I give it 3.5, but like I said, those were 2 wasted issues in
they were
when they were going to Europe or when they're on that boat or something when what's his name, when Fury died or something. That was a bit of a waste.
Yeah, no, exactly. But anyways, but overall it was okay. It was good. Like, it was decent. I liked it as a mini series. I think when it's all said and done, guys, if you didn't read this in issues and you're maybe looking to pick up the trade, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth checking out, because I just wish they had more of it. That's which is leaving us wanting more is not a bad thing necessarily, right? So yeah. Anyways, all right. Next up, Immortal X-Men #1. Actually, I should unfold this gatefold cover here for you guys. Let me just have to pull some maneuvers out here. There we go. Yeah, awesome cover. This is one of the regular covers for this issue too. I think this was like the main cover for this.
Yeah.
I think it's a Mark Brooks cover. Awesome cover though. The gatefold, like, kind of get you the whole image here of all the council sitting down at the table. I really like the cover. I know it's not often I talk about covers here, because usually Chris has got the nice ones that he's showing off on the channel, but this is a good one, man, for sure.
I think that was the best cover of them all, because they did have a few variant covers, but there's nothing special about any of them.
Yeah, no, I like this one a lot. Yeah, it's a real nice one. Like, even when I pre-ordered it, I was like, that's an awesome looking cover.
Yeah.
Whole cast of the book too, right? And it kind of, like you said, so many covers, even these basic images, don't really depict what happens in the book, but this one shows all the main characters in the council kind of just sitting there, right? Which is kind of what most of this issue focuses on, right? So what do you think, Chris?
I thought it's good stuff with Mr. Sinister there. He's got some stuff going on in here. And it's kind of a lot of behind the scenes stuff with the council trying to recruit the new member. I thought it was pretty good. Like, it's not an action-packed comic, but there's some stuff going on in there that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so this intro, like the intro here, like, didn't make sense to me. But then as you get into it, it kind of comes back around. And I think they did a pretty good job of explaining that stuff, because I'm not too familiar with this Celine character. Like, I know this is Destiny here, but in the past with Mr. Sinister, because they're using their actual names. But I actually had to look up a couple of times, like, certain characters that they were referencing in this, because there was that other character, Celine, that came later in the issue, who's actually apparently the oldest mutant, like even older than Apocalypse. But I'm not familiar with her too much.
Yeah, so I didn't know who she was either. She was kind of the one that was all kind of dressed in the goth.
Yes, who kind of tried to join the council and threaten them, right? But so a quick Google, kind of like me just searching for her, though, gave me an explanation of who she was. I just wasn't as familiar with her. That's my one kind of negative about this issue. Overall, I thought it was a great start, great issue. I really enjoyed this as well. But I will say, like, unless you've been paying attention to what's been going on with the current status quo of X-Men, or you have a good knowledge of X-Men overall, this may not be the easiest kind of book to jump into, I feel like, because I think like a new person to X-Men, I don't know if this book is really like this did a good job of introducing all the council members, because Mr. Sinister was able to examine everybody and I love that like his inner monologue of him kind of like going through the table, assessing everybody, talking about like this secrets he has on them. So it gave you a good introduction to those characters, but at the same time, I think if you didn't have the background of what's been going on Krakoa
Oh
and
yeah, you'd have no idea what's going, like why they're a council or where are they and all that sort of business.
right. So I don't think this is a new reader friendly issue. That being said, if you have been paying attention to what's going on, or even reading some of the books, like I don't even read most of the X-Men books, but I had no problem understanding this. I thought this was excellent. Like this version of Mr. Sinister, this weird eccentric version, has already been like Hickman set that character in motion, like, and then he kind of continued in the Hellions series. And the writers have just he's just got the spot on voice for this version of Mr. Sinister now, because he's never always been like this, right? But yeah, by the end of this, you find out, like, you know, whatever was foretold at the start there in the past by Destiny and Mr. Sinister is that Hope, Jean Grey's sister, is joining the council, and he wasn't sure like that was so good if she joined the council or not. But then Destiny voted in favor of her joining the council, so it kind of threw him for a loop. And when they vote people in, she got the winning vote. And where it goes from here, like, who's to say? But at the end, we find out Mr. Sinister's up to some other things, you know, that are in the mix that are going to make it pretty interesting, I think, down the road. Like, he's got the drop on everybody though in this issue. Like,
I like his secret lab there too. Didn't he have like I don't know, he's doing experiments with the X genes, and he's got like Cyclops eyeballs or something. They're almost like grenades or something. I don't know if you just throw them out and they freaking just blast beams because he's got no eyelids to keep them shut.
Yeah, because that's this whole thing is that taking mutant genes and cloning and doing all this kind of
it's nice to see that he's just not a freaking moron like they've kind of portrayed him as, just kind of not a moron, but he's always just had the smart mouth, but not really had anything behind it. Now you can see he's got some juice.
Right. I think he just acts like an idiot.
Yeah.
And like he's wacky, like he's eccentric, like, you know what I'm saying? He's a genius though, but like he plays it up, it seems like, for like, even when they were going around the table and like she announces what's her face, who was leaving, Magneto said he was leaving the council because he's gonna go up on Araco now, the Mars colony that they got going with Storm. And it was just funny because as soon as he announced that, he was like, okay, got to play it up. He's like, what? What? Like, everybody else is like, what's wrong with you? Like, I thought that moment was great, man. Like, there were some funny moments in here. It was really well written. Awesome art. Yeah, great start. Great start. I'm glad this is, out of all the X books that are coming out now, we chose to pick this one, because I know there was a lot of talk. They said that this book was going to be a good companion to the main X-Men title. And
I think this book's going to be sort of like not a blueprint, but like a home base for all the X titles, Like, you need to read this one, but you don't have to read, say, X-Men Red or something.
Right.
But if something happens in X-Men Red, there'll be some bits of it in this Quiet Council,
That's the thing. That's what basically what this book is, guys, is that this is the book about the council. So, like, I think any goings on in the actual Krakoa will come to this table and be discussed, like, at this point. Like, I think, and then it's going to probably have its own kind of plot threads, I'm sure, that are going to come out of this. But in that sense, like, they kind of brought us up to speed pretty well, I felt like, in this issue, right? So yeah, I thought it was fantastic. What'd you give this, man?
Yeah, I'll give this a 4 too. It was a great book.
I'm gonna give it a 4.5. That's I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, great start. But like I said, probably not the best book to start with if you're new to X-Men. That's for sure. But
I got to start somewhere.
That's true. Take the plunge. That's the old school way, right? All right, go ahead, Chris.
Okay, so what do we got here? We got the Shadow War Alpha. I think this is like the beginning of the, I guess, Batman Deathstroke crossover, or Robin crossover. And this was a really good issue here. Ra's al Ghul gets assassinated by Deathstroke. Well, a Deathstroke imposter. I don't know if that's a spoiler alert, but and King Deathstroke. There's, I guess, King Deathstroke from Deathstroke Inc. now, as he goes by the name. He's in for a world of trouble. It's great art style in here, and leading up to the death of Ra's al Ghul, kind of gave a lot of weight to when he did get assassinated. It was just kind of like, it's not like you just kind of walk it out, pow. It's kind of felt like, you didn't want him to die, but he did. I'm looking forward to the rest of this this arc through all the issues that it goes through. And I'd give this another 4. You know, these were I had some good comics this week.
Nice. That's good to hear, man. Yeah, that's good. And that's crossing over into Deathstroke, Batman, and Robin. Is that
I think, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
like Ra's al Ghul, the daughter, Talia al Ghul, Damian Wayne's in there, and Batman and the Serpent Society. So there's a lot going on.
Is it going to be a weekly event then? Like, are you going to be talking about this every week now? I guess, like with whatever
I
books.
think it's like through maybe 6 issues or something. I think the next one's it's following up in the next Batman,
Yeah.
and then see where it goes from there.
Nice. All right. Nice.
Okay, now we got Spider-Woman 21. I can see in the cover series finale. Kind of sad to see this one end, but happy too, so I don't have to buy it anymore. But I did enjoy a lot of these Spider-Woman issues. They're fun issues, and just some light reading. There's decent art in there and some fun stuff happening. And this one here is the series finale. She's fighting the anti-Iraq 9, and it's a bit of an action-packed issue too because it got 9 people that she has to go up against. And she takes a few licks in here and she knocks a few people out. And that was it. There's nothing fancy going on in the story. There was no like earth-shattering revelations or anything. She's got that team of people that wanted to kill her. She beats them up, and at the end, oh, I'm Spider-Woman, and what adventures await her next? Who knows?
Right.
I give this 3.5. It was good, but nothing great.
Right. Okay, cool. All right. Let's see here. Next up, got Hulk Grand Design #1, Monster. And actually, I'll put Chris on for a moment here to show off that cover. That's an awesome looking one. The Ed Piskor variant cover. The other half of Cartoonist Kayfabe, the popular YouTube channel of these creators, these indie comic creators. He's doing the homage cover, of course, there to the Todd McFarlane Hulk issue with the Wolverine's claws on it. That's awesome. So this is Jim Rugg. As I mentioned, one of the indie comic creators that does a YouTube channel, Cartoonist Kayfabe, with Ed Piskor, the artist that drew the cover that Chris just put up there. And they do a good job of analyzing comics, talking about comics that they really enjoy, and talking to creators on that channel. So shout out to them. Check it out if you're looking for another good comics related channel if you don't already know about them. They're mostly based mostly guys that are working more indie comics side of things. But Ed Piskor did one called X-Men Grand Design. And then their other buddy, Tom Scioli, he did one called Fantastic Four Grand Design. So Marvel's been doing these grand designs for the last couple of years with indie comic creators, where they give them 2 oversized issues to basically chronicle a whole period of time for the characters that they're talking about. So like Ed Piskor with his X-Men one, he did all the Chris Claremont kind of era of X-Men. He had to kind of condense everything into 2 oversized issues to kind of talk about all the events that happen in X-Men. And X-Men's like a fucking soap opera, man. Like the stuff that happens in X-Men during that period of time is insane. Like to actually think that somebody was able to make sense of it all and take all the best bits and pieces and kind of put it in 2 issues. It was pretty, great. And it's got kind of like more indie looking art styles. So like, the not art that you would generally see in a lot of these Marvel comics. Right. So, I got to say, though, compared to those other 2, this is probably the best Grand Design series yet, even with the 1 issue in out of the 2 that are going to come out. The reason why is those other series, I find because of the amount of information they had to go over, they had a way of saying and then this happened, and then that happened, and this thing happened, and this thing happened. And it felt very it felt you know what I mean? It wasn't a great reading experience. It was more this is impressive, that they did this, but as the flow of the story wasn't really told in a great way. This, however, I thought he did a very good job of incorporating all the stuff that that he covered in this issue. Now, this one, I think there's an index at the back here. I think he talks about the first 300 issues of Hulk he basically covers in this book. And then the Peter David Hulk, obviously the most famous run of the 90s there, he's going to cover in the next episode, and that's going to take up the bulk of that. But at this point in time, the Hulk, compared to some maybe like something like the X-Men or Fantastic Four, I don't think there was as much stuff going on for the Hulk, because like it's just basically a smash 'em up book for so long. Like there's certain pages of this issue where he's like, and then he fought this guy, then he fought this guy, and then he fought this guy, and then like it is funny because like yeah, it's the Hulk. Like he just like he was misunderstood. He went around the world and he got into beefs with people and he kicked their ass, and he was just letting like this, he fought a whole bunch of people. But like the way the story was told in this, he even took like real life stuff into account, like as he was chronicling this. Like he came up with creative ways to kind of address certain things. Like there was a page where he did like a splash page, and then it was like the ad for the TV cartoon show of the Hulk that was back in like, I don't know, like the 70s or something like that. And like he actually did like a house ad that looked like the actual cartoon, and then he did like newspaper headlines. So he had like an interesting way of presenting the information that I don't think that the other creators did as well in their books. So for that reason, I thought it made it for a much better reading experience. And then, the paper stock on this makes it look like it's old, like the coloring of it feels like it's a nicer paper that they use for this issue. It's a $6 issue retail, guys. So like it's oversized. And yeah, he just did a great job, I think, kind of giving you the gist of all of his adventures throughout the first 300 issues. And in the back, there's an index where it says every page what issues he actually pulled this information from, if you ever wanted to go and check those issues out. So yeah, it's just really, that's like a masterclass in storytelling and comic books. And I think that, he did a great job. And anybody's interested in the Hulk that wants to know about his history, or just wants to see a good indie creator doing his thing with a Marvel character that he enjoys, definitely check out Hulk Grand Design. So first one's called Monster, and then the second one's going to be called is called Madness. And that cover is going to combine with this cover to actually show two sides of his face. And the other cool thing too is that he actually made the Hulk look different throughout the comic as well, like how he looked, I guess, from certain artists that were drawing him during that period of time, or just how he looked in the title at that time. Because the Hulk, he became dumb and smart, and then kind of smart, and then dumb again, and then smart. Like, you know what I mean? Like, depending on who's taking control of the wheel, Banner or the Hulk, right? And then he becomes Gray Hulk. That's probably going to show up in Madness. Yeah. So like, it's just like he's gone through like actually a lot of different kind of looks and styles over the years too, and he just did a great job doing this. So I gave it a 4. I thought it was solid. I thought it was really good, and I look forward to the next issue.
Yeah, I did get a chance to sort of leaf through it when I got there. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but it does look interesting, and there are a few kind of images that pop, and I do like that kind of old school look to it, even with the paper having that sort of yellowish tinge to it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to reading that.
Yeah, and like I said, it's only going to be 2 issues, guys. So if you want to check it out, it's not a huge investment. Yeah, this issue and then the next one that comes out next month. So yeah, really, really cool. Check it out. And then next up, we got X-Men Unlimited #1 Latitude. Now, this was a digital first comic. I guess they came out on the Marvel online, like I guess their digital comics reader a couple of months ago. And now they're actually putting them into print. But if you know the X-Men, I think back in the 90s, they had a series called X-Men Unlimited. So they're kind of taking after that. And then I think this is going to be a 2-issue 2-issue series. And then they're going to do more comics in print that are digital first. I think the one after that's X-Men Green. They're doing them like right now as we speak. You can check out the comics that are coming out digitally right now that are going to be coming out a couple of months down the line through this like new, I guess, initiative of digital first, then print kind of X-Men books they're putting out. But listen, this book was by Jonathan Hickman, who's pretty much left the X-Men for a while now, but I guess he wrote this like some time ago as it was online a couple months ago. And Declan Shalvey, who I'm a huge fan of his art, and he's drawn Wolverine a bunch of times, who I really like his Wolverine. And yeah, this one was just a really great issue that was like it served as like a one and done issue of Wolverine on a one-man mission. It starts off with Wolverine in like the Sword kind of space center in space. And then you see him basically up there and dropping down onto this mission. He like skydives through space. He infiltrates an AIM base of operations. And then it's basically just Wolverine monologuing throughout majority of the issue, like in his head, like kind of telling you what thoughts that are going through his head, like what's about to go down in this mission, as he kind of works his way and fights a bunch of AIM agents through the facility, shoots a bunch of them out into space when he opens the airlock, great art. And it was just it was nice because it kind of gave it a lot of room to breathe and like the story be told through the art and kind of so through some great Wolverine moments. And the other thing that impressed me too is like Hickman, this was very humorous. Like Hickman was very funny in this. That Hickman doesn't really get too funny. Like at times he can be funny, but like a lot of people will say that about a lot of his characters. They don't show a lot of emotion or like a lot of like, you know what I mean? Like he's not a great character moment type guy, just more plot and things like that. But in this issue is very funny, very humorous. Like he's speaking to like a MODOK kind of computer thing here in this scene, and he encounters MODOKs. He encounters Nightcrawler. Basically the mission is him rescuing Nightcrawler from this AIM facility. You find out at the end. And yeah, there was a funny moment where he goes and he steals this guy's beer out of one of the AIM's fridges, and he asks one of the AIM guards that's there. He's like, "Whose beer is this?" He's like, "Oh, that was Ted's." He's like, "Who's Ted?" He's like, "Oh, you shot him out the airlock when you kind of infiltrated the base." He's like, "Oh, I guess he's not gonna mind then." You all, it was just funny, man. Yeah, as you can see, he got all burnt up here, right? It was just, if you love Wolverine, this was just a fun one and done adventure mission starring Wolverine with great art and writing. And I loved every minute of it. I thought it was a great issue. And there's one more of these X-Men Unlimited Latitude issues. Yeah, there's the beer coming out. I don't know what they have planned for that one, but you can just pick up this one. Yeah, there's a whole couple of page spread of him punching the shit out of this AIM guy. You can just pick up this issue and have a lot of fun with this, man. Yeah, I gave it a 5. There was nothing wrong. I love everything about this issue. There's nothing to complain about in this issue for me. It was oversized. Yeah, it just hit like a lot of notes. And as a Wolverine fan for me, I dug every moment of it. So there you go. All right. DC versus Vampires number 6. Oh, let's take a look at Chris's cover here. That's what he got there. Oh, very cool. Yep.
Nightwing ramped up.
Very cool. Very cool. Spoiler. There's a spoiler.
That's not a spoiler cover.
What'd you think of this, Chris?
Woo! The gloves are off in this issue. Holy smokes. The fave part is when Harley forgot about her teamwork there, or her teammate, when she's talking to Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
But everything else, like I didn't even write anything in this because so much is going on in here. There's some big battles, big things happening in this issue, and this is by far my favorite DC vampire issue, and it's starting to catch up to what's that? The Dark Knights of Steel, as an Elseworld book. I love this one.
I liked it. I didn't love it as much as you, it sounds like. There's one issue I had with it, one story choice, I think, that made me feel overall it was pretty good. I did like it. I agree with you, but in that sense, it was good. But the one thing that bugged me about it, and I won't reveal it, is that I will say it is revealed that somebody out of Batman's family, one of the Bat family people, is a vampire that we find out in this issue, which has been kind of like the last few issues. They kind of maybe been exploring that idea. Is one of them a vampire? Who is it? And then we kind of got over that fact because they tried to reveal the fact that they did a bunch of tests and okay, it's none of us. We can move on now, right? I didn't love who they chose to be the reveal of who. That's just a personal thing. I don't love who they chose to be the vampire out of all of them personally. And then secondly, I didn't like the reasoning they gave because I don't really know. Like I get I looked into it a little bit. There may be some truth to what they said, like the way he was able to hide from the fact that he was a vampire from the group. But like I don't know that to be the case. So like, you know what I mean? Like the excuse the
excuse was a bit of a crutch.
Yeah, so I felt that was kind of like, I don't know if I want to call it lazy writing or not, but it was just kind of like, really, like I when he said that, I was like, you kind of lost me a little bit, to be honest with you, with that at reveal. Like everything else is interesting, like the action was good, like I'm looking forward to the next issue. I think it's an interesting story still being told and developing, and I do enjoy the series, as you know, but that kind of lost me a little bit, more so than me just saying personally, oh, I wish it wasn't this person, but like whatever, that's just personal, right? But like the fact that they use that as like, this is why you didn't know it was me. I was like, come on. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I don't know.
Yeah, you can't put that test in there and then have the test fail.
Right. So I don't know the way that person's powers work. Apparently, maybe it could be used to that degree. I was trying to look it up to see if because I don't really know too much about the person's powers that they referred to in that sense, if they could actually use it for that. But like, if it's something that's completely made up, it's just. I would have liked it if it was something we could have noticed in the past issues and been like, yeah, that makes sense. That's
Yeah.
why, right? But this was just like, it's just such a swerve that you wouldn't have seen it coming. And I guess that maybe that's some of the nice part about it is like they kind of like, but like if it's just completely bullshit, like I don't really enjoy.
Well, yeah, I feel like it was something that they kind of, like you say, didn't. There's no way to know about this because it just came out of left field. Like all this, it's like someone just having like out of nowhere some superpower you didn't know of.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm about to die. Oh, don't worry, I got level fucking 10 coming off me now, and I
Right.
can beat you.
So that's
Yeah,
the,
but at least this isn't the end. This is just
no, you're
some
right.
stuff through there. But the vampires are going crazy now. They're taking over the world in this one here.
No, for sure. By the end, it does not look good. And we're only at the midway point right now. I
Yeah.
think over the next couple of months, though, guys, I think there's a couple of one shots that they're focusing on different characters outside of this main story. I think they're going to take a break in a sense, but they're going to still be putting out issues. I think one of them has to do with Harley in a couple of months. Like I saw the future solicits for a couple of months from now. And like, I think the next one of them's about Robin, I think. And then
I think it's got Robin one.
yeah. So like there's going to be, we're not done with this yet, but I think they're going to take a couple of issues that tell side stories in this universe and then come back. Probably because they want to keep the same artist on the book, and then he's going to really draw the next couple of issues, right? So anyways, what'd you give this then overall?
I'd give this a 4.5. I like this one.
Wow. Okay. I gave it a 3.5, but only because that caveat, like I didn't like that, but overall I'm still invested in this series. I think it's fun. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one.
Did like how they took care of the Green Lantern.
Yeah. That was good. Yeah. Yeah. That one I was trying to be a little bit more careful on the spoilers, because I think for anybody reading that one, that'd be an interesting twist there, right? Depending how you.
Yeah.
All right, Hulk number 5.
Got one of the variant covers here.
Oh, let's see that. That looks awesome.
The Carnage.
Oh man, that's a cool looking cover.
The Carnage Forever variant. So it has nothing to do with the comic, but that's a pretty sick variant.
That is a nice one.
But I picked that one up.
This was fun, eh? You like this?
Oh yeah, this story's pushing forward on all fronts there. The engine room Hulk, those battles keep on ramping up, and then the actual fight keeps on ramping up. And what's that? President Thunderbolt, he seems to be going off the rails. And now you got Titan in the background ready to come out. I'm down for all of this.
Yeah, and that's going to be next issue where he comes to full fruition there, Titan, the way they ended this issue. And then directly after that, we go into a 2-issue crossover between Thor and Hulk with this Thor versus.
Yeah, and is Titan going to be in control of freaking Hulk?
I don't know, but
they go in there. Who knows?
They do mention something in this issue that they said is going to continue in issue 9. So like, this book's a ton of fun. It took a while to kind of get to this.
Yeah, those first couple issues were a little lame, but now this is poof.
Yeah, this is a fun ass ride, this book, man. Yeah, and this issue, yeah, it's Hulk fights through 2 more levels in his head in this one, stage 5, which was gods, stage 6, which was demons, which is pretty awesome. And then on the outside of the actual Hulk there, you got him fighting this big Spider-Man kind of
or something.
Yeah, like mutated spider creature, like basically I guess a gamma radiated spider man, and you find out that they have a bunch of like reject abomination like kind of thing.
I saw those bombs dropping. I don't know what the heck's in there. Like I didn't think abominations were gonna jump out of there.
Yeah, like failed kind of like Hulk creatures that they've made on this in this Earth or whatever that they're now in.
And then when they're talking about Reed Richards having kind of helping control all the, like, I think it's this off Elseworld or wherever they are.
Yeah, they got it all going on in this book. They're building a bunch of interesting story threads here, and there's great action, great art. And yeah, cool things happening in every turn, man. I really, this was the first thing I read this week, actually, to let you guys know how excited I was to check out this next issue. That's how fun. It's always solid, I think, lately, and yeah, it's always a good issue. I find the most interesting thing about the storyline now, though, is the fact that they say he's realizing like it doesn't matter what Earth you're on, like the Hulk, like it's unstoppable, and like
Yeah.
the the damage he's done like like throughout any like world or time, like as a result of like this Hulk business. It's just like anywhere you go, he's like there's no escape from this, like
Yeah, the Hulk is just pure chaos.
yeah, it's just like the way they drove that point home. I'm like, yeah, like look what's happening right now. Like, how is this timeline any better than where you came from, right? And that's what the Banner in this timeline, as he's getting the shit beat out of him by Thunderbolt Ross there, he's trying to explain to him. He's like, I thought that there had to be like something better. I wanted to explore this.
Yeah.
And whatever. And he's like, nope, this is worse. He's like, that thing out there. He's like, this is even worse. Like, what's going
Yeah,
on?
freaking, this is a smart Hulk, and you've never had, like, I guess there's never been one there because you saw and the other issues, they're like you say, they're all abominations, and they're just freaking dumb. And
Yeah, man.
this one's great.
What'd you give it?
I'll give this a 4.5, easy all the way.
Yeah. Yeah. I gave it a 4.5 too. I was about to give it a 4, but I just had so much fun with this issue. I got to give it a 4.5. This is probably the best issue, I think, so far. Like, honestly, like,
Yeah.
between this and the end of the last issue, yeah, great
Well,
stuff.
even with him kind of losing control on the flight deck or whatever, or
Yes.
Captain Hulk,
Yeah.
but even still, that Betty Brant, that's still him because that's all in his imagination.
Yes.
So it's not like someone else is taking control. It's just a different part of his psyche is taking control.
Exactly.
And then she's walking, she just pushes that thing right up to 10.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great series, guys. Check it out, Hulk, and get on board now, because when this, if you're not reading it already, guys, that issue, that crossover between Thor and Hulk, I think that's going to be a great time too. That's, I mean, Donny Cates is kind of piloting the whole thing. He's writing both books, and it's going to be a hell of a time.
Crazy things going on in there, and that whatever, that Hulk Thor crossover, like not just from reading solicitations or whatever, like I have no inside information, but I don't even want to say it. It's so crazy.
Yeah, you were saying that, you were alluding to that, but yeah, don't don't spill the beans. All right, man. Captain Marvel.
Okay, we got Captain Marvel here. Basically, I just bought this one because it's one of the X-Gwen cover variant covers. That's another fun comic here in the same vein as Spider-Woman and She-Hulk. Might give this a try for a bit. It's the beginning of a new arc. Binary's in here, and I guess Carol Danvers is trying to take care of her. The only thing I find weird is, since kind of got that jokey feel to it. I always thought a Captain Marvel comic would have a bit more kind of gravity to it, because she'd be, such a strong character that it wouldn't be such a jokey type book. But maybe it's just this issue. But I'm going to give this a few issues, and I think it comes out like once every couple of months, so I should be able to withstand that.
No, I think it's monthly. I think it's a monthly title.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly Thompson, the writer of that, though, to your point, she usually does a lot of snappy, fun between characters.
It's when they have a girls' night out, and like She-Hulk and Spider-Woman, they do show up in this issue, and the accuser is Lorelei L or something, and I don't know, they're in Vegas dancing the night away because Binary saw a cat die and they needed to cheer her up. But
okay,
sorry, spoiler alert, I didn't want to ruin the whole topic of this comic.
What'd you get?
But it was a fun issue, and I'll give it a go and see what happens. I'll give this 3.5.
Nice. All right.
And what do I got next? War for Earth 3. And this is 2 of 2. There were some, I guess there are, I think, 2 or 3 issues, part of the chapters. I didn't read them. I think it was connected with Suicide Squad and all this. But, I did dig this comic. I didn't follow all the chapters. But it's always fun to see the sort of evil alternates. And they're being fought by the Teen Titans and the Suicide Squad in this one. And Amanda Waller's in here, and she seemed bad, but now she might be good. But the way she does her good things is very bad.
Right.
And, you got that Ultraman Superman here, and I don't know. It's a fun read. If they did come out with a trade paperback that got all of this put together in one thing, I think it'd be a nice story. It's just fun seeing Superman as a bad guy, and when he decides to take care of business, he freaking takes care of business, and then they have to figure out a way to stop him, and they kind of got some tricky way to do things, and
Right.
see how it goes from there. So I give this a 3.5.
How many issues? This was it. It was just the 2 issues.
Yeah, one or two, and I think there might have been three. I think it was in Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know what the other. There's like 3 issues outside of this one, so it might have been 5 or 6 issues altogether.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I might have to check it out when it's all collected. Then.
It's a fun story, like with the evil Batman and the evil Wonder Woman in there, and
Right.
Wonder Woman just tears Superman apart, calling him a freaking. You should be a god here, and you're not even a man, and takes him apart. Then he tears her down too. It's like, well, I let you talk to me like this, not because I think you're my equal. It's just because I don't freaking care. And just pound the crap out of her.
Oh, jeez.
But anyways, fun at you.
All right. Next up, let's see here. Next up, we got Batman One Dark Knight #2. Yeah, so this is an oversized issue, as you can see. Probably it is one of those oversized DC Black Label books that they put out for some of their titles. Written and drawn by Jock, the usually an artist. I don't know if this might be his first thing he wrote. If not, he hasn't written much. This was just okay. The first issue, I think this is only gonna be a 3-issue series. The draw to this series is Jock is drawing a Batman story. I really like his art, and I really think he does a good Batman. Not everyone loves his art style though, so if you're not a Jock fan, don't check this out if you haven't already. First off, secondly, I don't know if it's because he's new to writing, he hasn't written too much. This was a pretty basic kind of outline for a story, and even as the first issue, I was like, okay, I got something interesting here, but they really needed to up the ante with the second issue, and it kind of just felt like more of the same. So this was a bit of a letdown. It's fine. I mean, again, I think the draw is the art, and but the story itself is like he's working his way through the city. It's a blackout. The character that he was transporting to the jail was responsible for for what the hell is his name, EMP or something. Like he's basically he's the reason why the electricity all kind of went kablooey, and there's a blackout, and all these rival gangs and villains and of his are running amok through the city, and he has to make his way like they show the map, I think in the first issue, like all the way across. Like this Blackgate's like on a little island. Like he has to make his way literally across the city to the other end and survive the night and get through it, right? So
That's
yeah,
how you get the Warriors.
yeah, kind of. Yeah, it is. That's a good point. So yeah, that's basically what it is. It's fine. There's nothing. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't over the top amazing either. The dialogue was okay. But you can tell, I think, that this is he's doing the heavy lifting with his artwork because he's primarily known as an artist, and letting that do most of the talking in this one. Not maybe not the strongest writer at this point. But I gave it a 3. It was okay. But if you like Jock as an artist, I think it's worth the visuals. So yeah, check it out. Then we got Excellent #2. So the first issue, when that ended, I wasn't sure if I was going to continue with this. This is kind of like the Ecstatics coming back after being gone for a long time with the same creative team. Mike Allred on art, Peter Milligan writing. This was a much better issue though, and unfortunately, I think I haven't pre-ordered anything back past the 3rd issue. I probably would have continued with it, but I don't think I pre-ordered the 4th one just because I wasn't sure after the first one. So I will be picking up the trade of this, which is fine because I think I have everything else. Like I think I have the Ecstatics Omnibus. That's what I have this collected in, like the first series, all in a big hardcover. So I'll just pick up the paperbacks as long as this series goes on. This was good. Some good Dupe moments, which is my favorite character from the old Ecstatic series. Basically, this guy used to be the leader and team member of the last Ecstatics book, like the last team went off. This guy, he went off and started his own basically Ecstatics group, and that's why this is called Excellent. This one, But this group's even worse than the Ecstatics. Like they're a bunch of reject kind of mutants that are really like they have shitty and weird powers, just like the Ecstatics, but they don't actually work well as a team. So he's kind of like giving the other group the side eye, and why like he had to leave that group and that they hate on him, and now he has to fucking be with this like shittier version of the group, and he makes a comment about it in this issue. And he actually ends up getting killed almost. They give you a flashback of, and then Dupe, the character that I like from the old Ecstatics team, it showed you that he actually saved him. So but he has his own version of Dupe that's like an evil Dupe, like on his team too. It's like the same character, but he's all black instead of green. I don't know, man. It was a lot of fun and had a lot of the weird wackiness that I think the old series, what I loved about it so much. And if you want to look at something outside of the box from all the other mutant books going on in Marvel right now, this has nothing to do with Krakoa, really, this book. That's this one right here. This is excellent. So yeah, this is a good second issue. The next issue, Doctor Strange shows up, so I'm sure I'm gonna like that too. So I gave this a 3.5. I thought it was fun, and I'm gonna check out the trade of this series. So I think if you were a fan of Ecstatics, it's still solid. I wasn't sure after the first issue because I guess it's been a long time, but this was nice coming back to it, this issue. All right, New Bird number 5. And I'm sure some of you viewers that have been tuning in a lot are kind of sitting there scratching your head like, I thought Nico dropped this. Why is he talking about this book again? I did drop it. Unfortunately, this was the last issue I pre-ordered, so I had to kind of pick this one up. I think I dropped it 3 issues ago. I decided, but the way pre-ordering works is you got to pre-order ahead of time, right? And yeah, it did it to me. After last issue, I would have been fine. I would have been out the gate, not looking back. I'm not picking it up anymore still. I'm sticking with it. But this was a decent issue. This is probably the first decent issue, I think, like since the first issue, honestly. Like I was just like, of course it had to be this issue is the one, like last issue. And I'm like, oh, I'm just ready for it to be crap again. No, it was okay. In this one, he gets arrested at the end of the last issue, and then he goes to prison. And then it looks like, I guess he was purposely arrested to kind of get into this position because he makes friends with one of the people in prison, makes himself look like a victim, a guy that's going to get beat up. And then the guy confides in with him, and he tells him about something. He gets him stopped getting from beat up at one point in the prison. And he's like, how'd you do that? He's like, oh, they owe me favors. I told them, I gave them information about a drop point that I used to be a part of. I used to be part of this mob family on the outside, and he knows who he is and that he works for the mobs and all this kind of stuff. But I guess he believed like his predicament, like that he's had a falling out with the mobs, and that's why he was in there. Because he reveals that he had to do with this, revealing this drop of drugs that basically got another mobster killed. And that's all he needed to know. And that was what the information he was trying to get from the inside, was to find out who set this in motion and who basically screwed over this mob family that he helps Newburn, the detective, because he kind of acts as an intermediary for them. So yeah, by the end of this guy's screwed because he kind of leaks that information to his mob contacts outside the prison, and he makes his way out of the jail. But what was nice about this issue is that they showed for once like a whole scenario play out, and like how he actually came to this conclusion and how he actually tricked him and stuff like that. While in the other issues, he just would show up at like the crime scene and like figure everything out like fucking Columbo. And you're like, how did he do that? Like they just didn't give that enough time to be explained the story. Right. So anyways, yeah. So I gave it a 3.5, but I'm still dropping it. And, can't recommend that one, guys. It's been not great lately. Magic Order number 2, issue 6. This is the last issue of this mini series. Good. It was good. It was a solid series. Great art. The first mini series I think was better than this one overall, though, I gotta say. But yeah, the main kind of magic family that we follow in this series came out on top, beat the bad guy in the end in a fun and creative way they didn't really see coming. I think that the way that the writer kind of uses magic in these issues and comes up with new inventive ways to kind of display magic through a comic book, and the way they kind of get themselves out of jams is always really well done. And I think that there's a lot being said for that, because that's hard to kind of display without, watching a film, I think. But he does a good job of it. Yeah, so I gave it a 4. I think overall the miniseries was a 4 when it's all said and done. Pick up the trade, guys. If you're a fan of the first miniseries, this is definitely still worth checking out. Fantastic art, really fun story. And lastly, here, before we get to me and Chris's last two books, A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance, number 6. So the last issue was probably my favorite issue of the series. It's again, this was a slow burn of a series. They really worked their way up to kind of get to this point, but it's been well worth the wait. I think we're in a really good point of the story right now and very interesting. Basically, this guy, the main protagonist, we found out that he's now living off the grid with like a militia group that's got relocated to BC, and he's watching over this kid for this woman that got gunned down at the end of the end of the last issue's kid, who he was trying to protect and save from like these bad guys. And now he's stuck taking care of her kid, living off the grid in BC with this militia group, and he's kind of become part of the society there, like pitching in, doing his thing around the town, kind of like The Walking Dead or something like that, if you will, like something like that, where you're part of the society there, and you're pitching in, and this guy, the guy, he wants to go back and contact his mother back home. The militia guy says, no, they're going to track you. Don't worry. These guys have eyes on us. I'll let you know the time, if we ever do go back. If not, this is your life now, kind of thing. And, he's not really willing to accept that. It seems like he's going to buckle towards the end, or he's having second thoughts about maybe going back home. You find out in this, like, he basically explains everything that's happened to him at this point. Finally, you figure everything out, is that he was an insurance man investigating a claim. He came across this like kind of dark web, like kind of post for like a hitman type thing. That's who was going to take out that woman that he tried to save. And all of a sudden, he's just in the middle of this messed up scenario where he's not a hitman. He's just a regular guy, and now he's on the run as a result of it. And he turns to this militia guy. He's like, well, what kind of idiot would get himself involved in this? He's like somebody who's a good person, right? And he's like, now you're just stuck in this shitty situation. Anyways, by the end of the issue, it turns out there was a guy creeping in the bushes with binoculars, so it looks like the bad guys have found him in this new location of his, right? So should be interesting. I gave it a 4.
Ooh, I almost got stuck with that issue because it was stuck in my pull box, or added to my stock.
Well, was it really?
But I put it back. I had enough of my stock already.
Yeah. All right, guys. I tried to fire through as fast as I could out of those. Sorry so much here at the end that I had. For once, I had way more comics than Chris this week, it looks like. Got you back for the last couple, man. All right, go ahead, Chris. Batman Beyond White Knight.
Beyond White Knight. Well, I heard something interesting about this A cover here. I heard this might be the rarer cover. There were some printing problems with this.
Yeah.
This might be, well, at least that's what they're saying on the short-term secondary market, let's say.
Yeah, the creator was talked about this online. Sean Murphy, actually, the artist and writer, he had mentioned that, and he was already seeing copies selling for $20+ online because of that fact. he put it out there. I mean, he was saying, "Hey, listen, I don't want you guys to speculate about this, but this is
speculate. This is why."
I know. I was just like, yeah, okay, bud. You didn't want people to speculate. Why would you even make this announcement?
But this is a super awesome cover, and you can't really tell on video, but when you see this in person with that Batman figure sort of highlighted, or it's I don't know what they did to it, but it's awesome. Anyway.
It is. Yeah, it's got some like gloss on the cover, kind of.
Yeah, gloss or emboss or embossed. I don't know what they call it.
Spot varnish.
Something going on. It's a little different than every regular cover.
Yeah, spot varnish. Also, there's always two really great variants for the series. Both of them are always nice, and they're by the same artist that does this book. They're both really good all the time, honestly. For his, because this is the third installment in the White Knight universe that he's been writing, so I can vouch for that. There's always great covers for this series. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I just picked it up. I don't know why, but maybe on your recommendation. Yeah. And I'm liking the world that they have here. I like the time they chose, the age they have Batman in there. And, just seeing how things might have played out. It's always fun to see. And it's a good take on the Bruce there, the older, wiser sort of Bruce Wayne where he's in jail and looks like he might have to come out of retirement and take care of some business. I'm not sure this guy here, who he is, if he's a bad guy or a good guy. It doesn't sound like he's a good guy. But we'll see, because they're saying that Derek Power is part of the people that are taking over the took over Bruce Wayne, and he tried to really, I think he almost sacrificed Wayne Industries, and then someone else kind of took over and turned it into an arms dealer or something like that. So I liking it.
Yeah. I mean, I've been a huge fan of the previous series that came before this. But yeah, I think this is also a good jumping on point, as Chris mentioned. Like, this is his first time, his first foray into this alternate kind of Batman universe. Amazing art.
Yeah, the art is super in this.
Sean Murphy is a beast, man. The guy who draws this. Unlike earlier when I was talking about the Jock story, he is a really good writer. I've really enjoyed all his writing throughout these series. The first one was focused with Joker and Harley, Batman White Knight. Then there was the second one, which was Curse of the White Knight, which focused on Azrael. And this third one so far is dealing with Batman Beyond, who's Terry McGinnis. And in this, you're right, he seems to be coming off possibly as a bad guy in this so far. But anyways, he was tasked to steal the bat suit out of the bat cave, I guess, while Bruce was in jail. Whatever was left in the bat cave, I guess this suit was buried in there. And they, like Chris mentioned, the Derek Powers guy kind of convinces them to go in there and steal the suit. Now, this is a suit that Batman had created, they said in this, that was the deadliest of all his suits that he didn't want anybody to get his hands on. And he kept it and never used it for that reason. But why he actually kept it and destroyed it.
That seems a little hokey, but anyways.
But that's the basic plot. And like you said, he might have to come out of retirement here, even though he's in jail by the end of this, and try to take him down. Right. So, we'll see what happens. But I can't say this enough, though. The art, I mean, the writing in the story is interesting, too, in the alternate Earth kind of Batman. But the art is top notch, man. Like, it's so good. He's a great artist. There's another great double page spread I just want to highlight here, too. Hold on. Well, that one's really cool, too. I mean, I'm not as familiar with Batman Beyond. I know it was a cartoon, and I know there's a bunch of comics of it, but I've never kind of watched the cartoon.
Like, I've heard of the cartoon, but I've never watched it either.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all in on this world here to see what's going on.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you were, if this is your first time checking out a White Knight series, like Chris said, he had no problem following this. I mean, it rewards you in knowing maybe some of the past things that have happened to some of these characters, but the fact that there is a time jump, it gives you the opportunity to kind of jump right in with this series. So I think
like, isn't Harley Quinn there? She's got a couple kids, and it sounds like she has, are they the Joker's kids or Batman's kids or something? I don't know, but I'm interested to find out, and if I got to go back issues to find out, I'll go that way too.
Yeah, it's the Joker. Yeah, you have to check it out. That's all established in the first series.
Yeah.
And she does have twins. And there's also actually a Harley Quinn miniseries that spun out of this as well that just focuses on her. That also takes place in the White Knight universe. And also in this, they had a footnote, editor's note in this issue that said there's going to be a Red Hood series too that takes place.
Yeah.
And they're all like usually 6-issue miniseries. So, like, again, it's not a huge commitment. They usually come out with one of these a year and maybe a spinoff the last couple of years. They've been solid, man. Every single one has been great. Good art, good writing. And
it's great when they pair a great Batman story with great art, because great art Batman stories almost like a dime a dozen. There's always someone out there that can draw Batman really well. And I got him brooding in the dark. The story just goes nowhere. So
yeah,
I'd rather have like one or two great panels with something, and a story behind it, rather than the other way around.
Right. And this is a one-man band. This is all Sean Murphy, the artist and the writer of this. So
good on him.
Yeah, the Dave Stewart on colors. So yeah. So what did you give this, Chris?
Yeah, I'll give this a 4. I'm enjoying it.
I gave it a 4.5. Yeah, check it out, guys. First issue. Yeah. And they always have interesting pinups at the back too. He always shows some original art from the upcoming issue.
Yeah.
And he gives you a pinup of maybe like an alternate cover or just kind of.
I'm gonna cut that out and put it on my wall. Yeah, not.
Don't be a sucker, guys. Don't do that. Don't destroy your comics.
Do what you like. They're yours.
All right, Chris. We finally made it to the end.
All right, here we are.
Beyond era of Spider-Man, issue 93. Ooh, let's see that cover.
Covers. I got the Gleason cover here.
Oh, very cool.
I don't know. There's a spoiler in his mouth. I don't know if you can see it, but
yeah, we got to talk about that. We're going to mention that. So, guys, if you do,
I don't know if it's a big spoiler, but
it's What'd you think of this, Chris?
the more I think about it, the less I like it. But I didn't mind the issue. It's the end. I was hoping for hell. Did I even? Oh, there it is. I was hoping that this was the end of the Beyond, but I got a bad feeling that it's going to continue in the new ASM or the new Amazing Spider-Man. I thought it's great battles between Spider-Man and Spider-Man. Seeing Janine kick some ass in there, I thought that was great. But it had me wishing that MJ had a more active role in this story here. Like she was always just kind of
Yeah,
hanging around in the back.
that's true.
And I'm happy that Ben kind of went bad. I don't know why he went bad though, because he doesn't have memories. And
So
why would he even trust whatever Maxine had to say? With that magic helmet there, with the helmet there.
this one here, yeah. So that's the problem. And like you said, you actually, once again, I share a lot of thoughts with you on this episode, especially. You hit the nail on the head when you said the more I think about it, the less I like it. So I've been trying to I even did a Passover when I was writing down some notes before we recorded the episode today of this issue, trying to get a better idea too of what I had read out of this issue. Cause I wasn't sure if I wasn't super confused, but I'm like, is that what happened? I just wanted to make sure because I'm like, it wasn't really the way it played out was a kind of a little bit odd. So what I got out of it was, yeah, Ben freaks out and attacks Peter during this. He realizes that the good parts of his memories that have been taken away by the Beyond Corporation were the parts of Peter in his memories that made him a good person as a result. So I guess Maxine got inside his head that's already messed up and he was having issues with and convinced him to go after him with this helmet. And if he was able to get the helmet on him, he could take those memories back. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I got. But then it ended in some sort of a showdown of them fighting, and then he fell in this goo, and then the goo smothered him, and then he became a bad.
Oh yeah, how he survived the goo, I don't know.
Then he became a chasm character, right?
How that happened, I don't know either.
But that is a classic comic book trope making of a villain, you know what I mean? So I kind of I was even though you've seen it coming from a while away, I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm like, that's kind of that's like Joker falling into this Harley falling into, you know what I mean? The transformation of him. But again, his head, I guess, was all screwed up and what the motivation moving forward, unless his brain is so scrambled. I don't know why he would.
Yeah, it seems like his brain is scrambled now, but
yeah,
if he unscrambles, then he's going to become a good person. And screw that. They should have had him go bad, with a clear mind and just say, hey, I'm fucking tired of this shit of being a clone. I'm tired of Peter Parker. I don't like him. I'm going to fight him. Not to steal back his memories or to steal parts he was missing. You don't miss parts you don't miss because you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah.
He had a good life with Janine. They could have went off and just been on their own thing, done their own thing.
Yeah, so I don't know if they sold me on that. You know what I mean? I was by the end of this, and again, like you said, the more I thought of it, I was like, that's kind of dumb. I was and then I thought to myself, and we don't know what the hell happened to him at the end of this issue. Whatever the hell happened to Peter at the end of this issue is going to set up, I guess, this is set up for the next.
Yeah, I thought basically what I thought was going to happen is him and the Peter fighting Ben. I thought they were going to blow up that island that they were on, and that was going to be the beginning of the new Spider-Man because he's standing in a crater.
Right.
But that didn't happen, so I have no idea what's going on in this new Spider-Man.
Overall, guys, the Beyond era, and I'm trying to judge this issue on its own, but that being said, very forgettable. This Beyond era, it's not great. I'm glad it's finally over.
Go what 3 times a month?
That's what I mean. I'm kind of
ram garbage down your throat.
If it wasn't Spider-Man, I would have dropped this long ago. And I guess they got me in that sense because they know that this is a title that people know.
Even with these lousy issues, this was still the #1 bestseller, whenever it came out. Even those Beyond or Dot Beyonds. As much as I didn't like that, I didn't really read so much of that Kindred stuff. But that Spider-Man should have ended on, was that issue 75 or whatever? When Kindred ended, and I don't know what they could have done with this story here. This story has no relevance to anything except the only thing I have to say is about this with this, what's his name, Chasm or
the villain. Well, Ben, who's now
I don't really care where Ben's stories go, but then I felt that way when Venom came out too, so I could be wrong about all this stuff.
I mean, it
I
could.
thought Venom was a garbage character when he came out to the boom. I was.
And most of this run, we were also like, fuck Ben. Like, we were just like, I don't like this Ben. And we were reading it, and it focuses on him. But I got to say, like, majority of all the tie-in Beyond issues, garbage. There was moments of the series that had some interesting things that didn't get to play out. I think any satisfaction. That being said, like you said, it's kind of pointless by the end of it. So yeah, I'm not going to look back, I think, on this Beyond era like in a good way, like personally.
Yeah, the best thing that came out of this was some of the Doc Ock stuff. Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
I think Black Cat and Mary Jane won off.
Fun. That was good. That was good.
That was good. And
there was a couple of highlights throughout, but like, you know, for the whatever 20 something issues with the tie-ins that we've experienced, it's not memorable. So what
I find this issue, it's good compared to the other issues, but it's like, you know, that Newburn one. Oh, finally a decent issue. You know, the decent issue should be 3, and, you know, there should be like 4s and 5s, you know, dropped in this series, you know, where a 3 would be, you know, a blah issue. You know, oh, wow, I'm happy I had a 3.5 out of this, you know, where everything is in 2s.
Yeah.
But it's over. You know, I got some nice covers out of it, but even all these characters like that Goblin Queen, they seem to be heroes of no consequence. You know, it's, you're going to go off and, you know, who wrote this stuff here? If they're not writing the next series, I don't think the next writer is going to, oh, I got to do something with that Goblin Queen. That was such a interesting character. You know, it's like, it's all going to be forgotten. Yeah. And the art in this one, too, you know, I didn't mind. It looked like it was done by Gleason, right?
I think he did majority of this, yeah.
And then you go to the end of those epilogues, and it's like, blah.
Then, yeah.
Wait, do a couple more pages, just finish off the issue, buddy.
And Zeb Wells, who's going to be the ongoing series writer, who is one of like the 5 people that was writing he also wrote this issue. So you know that he's not done with Ben. I'm sure Chasm now is going to show up in his. I just hope he doesn't make it the main focus. Like, don't carry on.
From what I understand, it's not the main focus of the first 6 issues, at least.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm okay with that then. Yeah, because if he comes somewhere down the line, I get it. He created this move for him turning into Chasm. He wrote this issue. He was probably the main guy out of these writers that was kind of driving the plot on this. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
That might be more interesting making him a villain than making him a kid, because it's not a guy we care for anyways, really, right? So it's
I'm glad he's a villain, like, but he better be a freaking real villain. Like, not a real villain, but none of this, oh, I was thinking wrong, now I'm better, and
right.
Sure, I have his own villain book, and
what'd you give this then?
I was gonna give it a 4, but I'm going down to 3.5.
I'm gonna give it a 3.25.
3.25. I think I was happy it was over. It was good fighting between Spider-Man and Ben, or Ben and Peter Parker, or whatever, you know. But the thing is, I don't think Peter Parker ever had to kind of let go and really fight back as hard as he could. He was always holding back the whole time, because he knew Ben was not well. You know what I mean? I want to see him fight him, where Spider-Man has to go all out because he's fighting a Ben Reilly that is, you know, in full control. And, you know, he's doing this because he has to, not he's not trying to protect Ben or save him or something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right. So there you have it, guys. Beyond era is over.
Yeah, I'll give it a 5.5 for that.
All right. So quickly, guys, we wanted to go over the new Marvel previews with you. Now, Chris, if there's anything you wanted to highlight of things that, as I'm going through here, that you will plan on picking up, like new series or things like that you wanted to mention, because I know you didn't get your previews there, but feel free to chime in there. So yeah, like last episode, we wanted to do the same with the Marvel previews for you guys here. Show off maybe some upcoming releases for things. I kind of bookmarked a few things I wanted to mention that I saw in this previews that I should be picking up in the next couple months from now. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, first up here, we got AXE Eve of Judgment #1. Now, this is a prelude to the summer event that's between the Eternals and the X-Men and the Avengers book. Only one that I'm actually reading out of those 3, but I think I might be reading. I might check out this prelude digitally for this series. Just because because this has to do with
issue 0. Sometimes they don't really matter, you know.
Exactly. So I think I'm going to check it out digitally. If this somewhat sets up the series, okay, cool. I think this has to do with the Inhumans, this issue, though. No, the Internals. Sorry, not.
Yeah.
But they did say that this is kind of like a prelude of sorts. So, like you said, sometimes those are throwaway issues that don't matter. But I'll check this out digitally in a couple months, and I'm looking forward to the event. Though I'll check out the event. It's been a while since I've actually checked out a Marvel event. I haven't really dug the last couple, like the look of
Well,
them.
now with the X-Men back in the fold, they're not just gonna freaking, kind of punk them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but even though I stopped reading Avengers and I haven't been reading Eternals, I've heard good things about from you what's going on currently in Avengers, and I've heard good things about Eternals. So I'm reading the X-Men already, so I'm like, yeah, I'll check it out. Sure, why not? Okay, they got the Fortnite comic there.
Yeah.
Captain America. How about this? Are you going to be checking this out?
I'm getting the first issue, I think. There's an issue 0 that I'm getting because it's got a super cover.
Yeah.
So I might be just reading this online. I'm really thinking about kind of cut down. I got a lot of issues ending.
Yeah.
And I have been reading a lot of, not garbage, but I can't be spending $70 every week on freaking, 10, 15 issues.
Yeah, man. Trim the fat a little bit. Read some stuff online, like you were saying. Right? Yeah, exactly. And that's why, I think these are good too to discuss maybe some of the upcoming books, even for you and I to kind of decide maybe what we want to read, right? So it's good to discuss too. In that sense. I don't know what this is. It's the other series. There's 2 of them going on at the same time. So I'm not gonna be checking this out myself. All right, Daredevil #1, the real
for sure.
For sure. Gonna check this out. Yeah. So this is gonna be Zdarsky continuing Daredevil. This is after Devil's Reign. So I don't know what's gonna change about the status quo of him going into this, but yeah, this is definitely a day one buy. Definitely gonna pick this up, guys. So if you did not read the previous series, I'm sure this would be a good jumping on point at this point. All right, an X-Men Hellfire Gala #1.
Yep, nice. I'm getting that for sure.
Yeah, this is a one shot. I enjoyed the last Hellfire Gala. Did you end up checking that out at all, Chris? Or
haven't, but with this Hellfire Gala, they got a bunch of variant covers coming out with that. I'm gonna try and pick up a few of those too.
Yeah, because they always kind of highlight the fashion and all this kind of stuff of these characters too with this, and like you said, there's always usually a lot of nice variants. A couple of them actually just showing off here, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna check. This is a one shot, an oversized one shot. And they mentioned after last year it being successful, since it is a gala and they're going to continue with the Krakoa status quo of X-Men, they're like, hey, let's make it an annual thing. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm okay with that. As long as I think this is better that they make it a big one shot like this and not branch off into all the titles again like last year.
I just have a one shot. If they want to launch a new story in there or something, or a new sort of event, fine, perfect.
All right. So yeah, the ones I don't have bookmarked here though, Chris, if I'm going to try to go through them quick, but if you do spot something, just point out. Jane Foster and Mighty
Thor. Yeah, I'm getting that.
You're getting this? Yeah?
Probably.
Yeah.
I've read any Jane Foster, see what she's about. Spider-Man, Tombstone stuff, or...
We're already reading those. Are you going to be checking
Spider-Man 2099, I'll probably pick up the first issue, see what that's about.
Yeah. What else here? It's Thor Hulk crossover. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah, I'm not getting that.
I might check this out digitally. I might. I've heard good things about Peter David doing this character in the past. I might check it out digitally. I might not. This one I'm kind of still on the fence about. You're not going to be checking this out? No?
I like the original Captain Marvel, and he's never coming back, and I hope he never does.
All right, there you go. That's a good point. Defenders, Beyond, Wild Cards. I don't know what the hell that is.
No.
I'm going to check this out digitally, I think. This is called The Variants. This is a mini series with Jessica Jones meeting a bunch of different alternate Earth Jessica Jones. And Gail Simone's writing it. Phil Noto, who just did the art on that X-Men Devil's Reign mini series.
Oh, yeah, I might fight for that.
Yeah, so I might check this one out digitally myself because I usually pick these up and trade the Jessica Jones stuff. But yeah, I like Jessica Jones. I think she's a good character, and this sounds like an interesting concept, all the alternate Earth versions of her. So I might check that out. Okay, this one here. Definitely gonna grab this. This is Clobbering Time. One of 5.
Bad for you, man.
What's that?
I got bad news for you. I think it might have been canceled.
Did you just hear that, or?
I saw a tile there on my Google.
Oh man.
Well, I can't say for sure. I want to look into that.
This is the artist Steve Scroce, who's a really awesome artist, and again, doesn't really work for the big two all that often. So you're probably right if that's the case. Because when I saw he was drawing this, I really dig this guy's art style. I was like, oh man, a 5-issue series of the Hulk and Thing fighting each other, drawn by this artist. I was like, I'm in. So I hope that's not the case, guys. But if it is, oh well. I might check this out digitally. This one here. This is an Ant-Man miniseries. I like the team on it, Al Ewing and Tom Riley, the artist. I might check this out digitally. I like Ant-Man. Every once in a while, I like to read an Ant-Man series if I liked who's doing it.
Like Hank Pym is Ant-Man, you know, or is it
Hank Pym, and it's a flashback to his career in the past. So it's like a throwback Hank Pym story. So yeah, I might check this one out. I think it might be fun. Digitally at least. I probably won't pick up the issues of that. Yeah, this looks weird. Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I don't know about that.
writing that, eh?
What's that?
Taboo.
Yeah.
Taboo from the Black Eyed Peas.
Oh, is that who's writing this?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, I'm not gonna be getting that.
Spider-Man goes to LA. I'm not reading it, don't worry.
So this next one, I guarantee, guys, that Chris is probably checking out.
Yeah.
I know I am. Did you
probably
see
the page? I know what it's about. The variant cover coming. I don't know. I'm not. I'll see what's going on, but I don't know about Black Cat and Tony Stark. But
no,
anyway,
it's gonna be good, I think, because the last time these two were together by the same writer during her main series, I read it and it was really, really good. They had like a 2 or 3 issue storyline already, these guys before, so the fact that they're doing a mini series of them together, I'm gonna check this out for sure.
I like to get powered up. You know, it looks like she gets a Iron Man suit there, so hey, it's not too bad.
He did steal one from his facility at the in a caper, like, because she's a thief in the last news of that, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, the fact that she's gonna get an Iron Man, so I'm like, all right, I'll check it out. I like like I said, they keep finding ways to make the Black Cat series go on. Like every time they're like, yeah, let's put out a video. The same writer
gonna show up in the MCU, man. They're pushing her a little bit too hard.
Yeah, absolutely. But I've liked them. There's Marvel's Voices Pride issue. I think it's going to be, they're doing a bunch of stuff for Pride Month. DC as well.
Yeah, I'm on board for that, of course.
And Marvel Thunderbolts, Mech Strike Monster Hunters. You going to check that out, Chris? I know you like the...
I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I'll probably read that.
Savage Avengers. I'm reading that.
I think I'll put the first issue in.
Yeah. And Punisher War Journal. Now, this is going to be a one-shot, the first of 3 that are going to be these Punisher War Journal stories being told by different people. Missions, I guess, he's going on outside of the main series. So I'm like, okay, Punisher one-shot, same kind of like storyline, sort of, but I guess it's him going on a mission. I was like, I'll check that out. So
I might read this online. I got a whole ton of fucking Punisher comics that they're great, but they're just never went anywhere.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all the stuff I bookmarked, but I'll go through some stuff here, Chris. If there's anything, just mention it. Is there anything you wanted to highlight?
Yeah. Well, I'm getting that cover for sure.
Yeah, that's a nice one. And yeah, I'm glad the first issue was so good. So I'll be continuing with that.
Yeah, no.
But hey, it's your favorite series. X-Men 12.
Yeah, X-Men's going well. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get Lethal Protector.
Yeah, it's like the first issue already came out, actually, I think, right? Did you read it?
No, I didn't get it.
I think it came out.
Yeah, I'm following that Gwenverse.
Okay.
Carnage. Maybe it might get back into Carnage. They're saying he's gonna bond with somebody, and
what? Kang's coming in Venom? Oh, that looks pretty good. I love Kang.
I'm still down with Venom. There's some crazy stuff. They got to get rid of this Dylan Brock stuff and see what's going on with Eddie in the garden. No. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, yes. Avengers Forever. That's still working out. Yeah. Yeah, I'm down with the Avengers still. I don't know about Moon Knight.
I'm reading it in trade, this series. It's pretty good. Strange. I'll be continuing with that. Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I've sort of dropped Ghost Rider. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah. Shang-Chi.
No. Pass.
Iron Man. You'll be checking that out.
He's gonna propose to Hellcat there. I didn't know they were that tight.
Yeah, he's been dating her throughout this whole run. The one that I mean, well, they really haven't gone on dates, but like,
why wouldn't he just give her a suit? Come on, suit her up.
Also, I guess you're going to be checking out this annual, right? It's by the same guy, writer. He's doing the annual.
I know the annual. These annuals sometimes are garbage.
That's true. All right.
Yeah, that binary. Oh, it's binary Captain Marvel. What's that?
Yeah, Captain Marvel 39. Is Binary the new Captain Marvel? All
Oh,
right.
the new Captain Marvel. Okay.
Maestro.
Hulk, Maestro. Yeah, down for Maestro.
And now we're just getting into aliens and Star Wars and this kind of
Yeah.
shit. All right. So there you go, guys. There's the Marvel preview. Some things we're going to be looking forward to picking up in a couple months. And speaking about what we're picking up now, let's talk about that. Chris, you got your list ready?
Got my list ready, and it seems to be decent. It's nothing crazy. You got Black Widow, and is it the end of Devil's Reign? Is 6 the final one, or is there more?
Last issue, yeah. I think there's an annual or a one shot or something that follows it before the new Daredevil series.
Oh yeah, Devil Omega or something.
Yeah, but that's it. This is the last issue of the main miniseries. Yeah.
Well, I hope there's some long-lasting repercussions from the series, because I thought the series has been pretty good.
Been solid, yeah.
And yeah, Fantastic Four, again, She-Hulk, we got Strange 2, Batman. I got that Batman Beyond Neo or something.
Okay.
That's about. And Scorched 4, and that's it for me. So like 8 comics. I might have something in pre-order somewhere there.
Yeah, I think I got about 8 too, actually. Yeah, a smaller week for both of us. That's good. Yeah, Batman 122.
Yeah.
Batman Killing Time 2. Devil's Reign 6. Fantastic Four 42. The Return of Firepower, which I'm excited about. Firepower 19. I got Little Monsters 2. Red Room Trigger Warnings 2. Strange 2. A lot of 2s. And I might read She-Hulk 3 online digitally. I'm not sure yet. I might just check that out and trade when it comes out now, but we'll see.
Nothing fancy going on in that series.
No, it's
it's just the fun, whatever, run around and do whatever they do.
Yeah. All right, though. Moment of truth, everybody. Your favorite part of the week, I'm sure.
I keep on forgetting to pick my favorite comic.
I think I know what yours is. If I had to guess, me personally, I think I figured it out.
I think I'm gonna go with this one here.
All right. Oh, really? I would have thought DC versus Vampires, but I know you also rated this pretty high. So yeah, Hulk.
No, this Hulk is. This is an ongoing series, and I really enjoy when an ongoing series, like not an Elseworld.
Yeah.
They're doing well, I guess this is like an Elseworld, but
yeah,
but it's different. It's not just an imagination story.
Continuity for sure. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So it all came down to X books this week for me, guys. But ultimately, I gave it to X-Men Unlimited Latitude #1.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I just
threw that online. See what it's about.
Yeah, man. I had a lot. I mean, it is available digitally. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this book. It was just, again, big Wolverine fan. It was simple, to the point, fun, good art, and yeah, it flowed and read really well. So yeah, it was probably my favorite that I ended up reading. But I will say the runner-up was Immortal X-Men. This was a great debut. So it was between the X books for me this week.
Nice.
There you go. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for another week. We will see you next week. As always, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. I want to also give a quick plug to an episode of Cracking Packs with the Chat we just put out this past week. If you're into that, watching those type of videos of people opening up cards, talking about cards. Chris actually was just on the show. He opened up a hobby box of the new Upper Deck hockey set 2021-2022. So check that out if you're into, hockey cards or card collecting or any of that kind of stuff. It's me and Chris just kind of talking like we do here, but we're talking about cards.
What we know of, or how little we know of hockey, and how little we know of players out there.
Yeah.
But it still it's a good time.
Yeah. It's always a fun time doing those. So definitely check that out if you're into that. We got a whole playlist full of those episodes as well. And and we'll see you guys next week for another exciting episode of Comic Shop Talk and another great week of comics, hopefully. All right, guys. See you next time.
Cheers.